Hey guys, this is Viv. Um, as some of you may know, I spent about 12 years working in the plastics industry before I became a functional fitness coach. Um, when people hear this, I tend to get questions about plastics and safety and BPA and all of that stuff. So I made a list of a few of the questions that I often get asked, and I thought that I would answer them here. So, number one, which plastics have BPA and how do I know what they are? Well, it used to be that polycarbonate was a fairly common plastic to use if you wanted something clear that had the appearance and feel of glass. So, stuff like baby bottles, the lid for my Vitamix, my old Vitamix, that's made from polycarbonate. But since we sort of realized that BPA was a problem, you don't see that much polycarbonate on the shelves anymore. In fact, I had to turn my house upside down to find a food grade item that was made from polycarbonate. So I tend to not worry too much about that because it's really not in my kitchen. It's not in any of the product that I reach for. Number two question: what are the safest plastics to use? This is pretty easy. Anything in the polyethylene family is fairly safe to use. So the recycling numbers on there in Canada are 1, 2, 4, and 5. The plastics that I would stay away from in my kitchen specifically would be number 3, which is PVC, number 6, which is polystyrene, and number 7, which is basically other. Why would I stay away from those particular plastics? Well, the polyethylene family are kind of like the water of plastic. They're very simple. They're the nature of how they bond and such. It's pretty simple. We understand it. It's good. There's no problem. It's not soluble in anything. And when something is not soluble in something else, it means that it has a hard time reacting with the world around it. So you're not going to end up in a situation where there is something in the polyethylene or the propylene that is reacting with something in your system, whatever. Long story. Anyway, question number 3. Why does my water bottle have an expiration date? And I'm talking specifically about water that we buy on the go. And while that is actually made from products in the polyethylene family, it's not particularly stable in sunlight. So they add stabilizers and UV inhibitors to that. And over time, the UV inhibitors can leach out because that is the nature of a UV inhibitor. It is also known as a sacrificial free radical, and it's kind of like the martyr. So it leaches out to the outside of the plastic and reacts with the sun before the sun can react with the material and break it down. Therefore, after about a year, this UV inhibitor is starting to leach out. The stabilizers are getting a little old. For safety's sake, if your water bottle has reached its due date, don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. So, number 4, how do I manage plastics in my house? Well, I stay away from PVC, polystyrene, and number 7, other. I also only use the plastic for what it was intended for. So if I happen to purchase something that was designed to be disposable, it needs to stay disposable. Typically, if something is food grade, which it will be if it's designed to go in your kitchen, then that's okay. However, I wouldn't take like a 5-gallon paint bucket from Home Depot and try and make food in it. That's a terrible idea because the materials that went into it probably are not food grade. And yeah, I think that is really about how I manage it. I try and stay away from overheating my plastic, um, putting it in sort of like unstable chemical situations, if you will. And yeah, there you go. Those are my tips. Bye.